Hello everyone. Today we're going to learn daily Tanya for Yud Aleph Tishrei Tafshin Hey Hey. So it's the day after Yom Kippur. We're going to start a new letter in Igeres HaKodesh from the Alter Rebbe. And let's get to it. Kaf Aleph, chapter 21. Achal Drishat Shalom. So Achal Drishat Shalom, that's how you say kind of after the pleasantries and after saying after well wishes. I don't know if there's a parallel in English. If you know the parallel, you can write it in the comments. כמשפט לאוהבי שמו, אלא מתנדבים בם לעשות צדקת השם עם ארצו הקדושה. Okay, so he is, in this letter, he is appealing to Yidden all over the world, particularly in Europe, to help maintain the Hasidic community in Israel that was getting started at the time. So let's remember that Alter Rebbe, his job was to collect money for the Kaila of the Hasidim there, to sort of help get the first settlement of first community in Eretz Israel of Hasidim who devoted their life to learning Torah and to becoming to Avodas Hashem, to worship in Eretz Israel, which is a wonderful, wonderful thing. Something very much worth giving money to. So it was the Alter Rebbe's job at the time to fundraise for that, and he was sort of in charge of getting the money to Eretz Israel. This changed later for historical reasons. So he's writing in this letter, you can see it partially as a fundraising letter. Now that can lead some people to be a little bit cynical about it, but I would recommend instead looking at it as, well, the Alter Rebbe right here is appealing to us. He's appealing to us to give money to Eretz Yisrael. So it's a very sort of interesting opportunity to gain some insight into what the Alter Rebbe will tell us that will motivate us to do that. How is the Alter Rebbe trying to motivate us to do that? It gives us an insight into what the Alter Rebbe sees as important, and as what he views we should view as important. So let's get into it. So he's appealing to those who are giving charity to not stop and to continue their donations. לתת מדי שנה, to give year after year, בשנה, חוק הקצוב, באות ארץ הקודש, תיבנה ותיכונן במהרה בימינו, right, to give their share that they've promised to give, or that has been decreed as the amount to give year over year. עליהם תיטוף מילתי ותיזל קטן אמרתי. So he says, I'm speaking to them. לזרז לזריזים, so to what's the word for this? To, let's say, quicken or to motivate those who are motivated. ולחזק ידיים רפות, and to strengthen arms that might be faltering. במתן דמים מאות ארץ הקודש מדי שבת בשבתו, right? To sort of strengthen faltering arms of those who are, as of now, giving tzedakah and are considering halting their donations because it's a very hard time historically. We've spoken about this. So people who would give weekly, or לפחות מדי חודש בחודשו, or at least monthly, מערכו הקצוב לערך שנה, right? So to give sort of daily or what was it, weekly or monthly. This will happen to a yearly sum, and this yearly sum is sent to Eretz Yisrael. בכל כסף הקודשים אשר עלה לב איש להתנדב בלי נדר לפרנסת אחינו יושבי ארץ הקודש מדי שנה בשנה. Right? And this is, of course, in addition to whatever other commitments people might have made, whatever blessed commitments people might have made to help Eretz Yisrael. כי הנה מלבד הידוע גודל מעלת הזריזות בכל המצוות, הנאמר ונשנה בדברי רבותינו זיכרונם לברכה. So he's saying, beyond that which we know about how dear Zrizus is, Zrizus being sort of enthusiasm and motivation, and sort of being into it, right? This is something that is very dear of all mitzvahs, as we see in the words of Chazal, the rabbis. לעולם יקדים אדם לדבר מצווה וכולי. So he gives an example, Maimer Chazal, where they say one should always come early to a mitzvah. One should always when it comes to a mitzvah, one should always sort of be enthusiastic, but also, make time for it, to come early, to show up for it. And he says it is the Zrizus, it is the motivation, the enthusiasm of Avram Avinu that stands as a blessing and a bulwark against all sorts of, evil decrees. He's saying, why? What do we mean? What do we mean by the motivation? כי העקדה עצמה אינה נחשבת כל כך לניסיון גדול, לערך מעלת אברהם אבינו עליו השלום. So he's saying, the Akedas Yitzchak, or the binding of Isaac, as it's known in English, he's saying this was not such a lofty test for him. This was not something that was so beyond him, or we might have thought it was so beyond him. It's like, this is, which is an interesting thing to say, because it's a very difficult thing to do. ושגם כי השם דיבר בו, כך נעת בנך וכו'. So this is for a few reasons. First of all, God spoke to him directly. God spoke to anyone directly. The idea that someone would say no is actually quite quite interesting. It would be obvious, of course, that somebody would answer the call. והרי כמה וכמה קדושים שמסרו נפשם בקדושת השם, גם כי לא דיבר השם גם. We've seen many people give their lives for the sanctification of God's name without needing God to speak to them. So, okay. So, to give the life of his son because God spoke to him, he's saying this is not something that's so difficult. It's certainly not for Avraham Avinu, someone as righteous as him. רק שאברהם אבינו עליו השלום עשה זאת בזריזות נפלאה. But it was Avram Avinu who did this with enthusiasm. He did this with motivation. להראות שמחתו וחפצו למלאות רצון קונו, ולעשות נחת רוח ליוצרו. He says, but Avram Avinu did it with such enthusiasm for the purpose of sanctifying God's name and fulfilling his will and fulfilling what God decreed and desired. He wanted to just do everything that God wanted him to do. And that he was motivated, that he woke up early in the morning, as it says in the pasuk, to do it. וממנו למדו רבותינו זיכרונם לברכה לקיים כל המצוות בכלל ובפרט מעשה צדקה העולה על כולנה. Okay, so and he said, he's saying, and it is from this Zrizus, it is from this enthusiasm for Avraham Avinu to do the mitzvah that we learn our own Zrizus, that we learn how much we should be enthusiastic about doing all the mitzvahs, especially tzedakah, ha'olal kulana, which is above them all, ha'megena u'matzla b'perotea, which guards and saves with its fruit ba'olam hazeh, in this world, mikol minei poraniyot ha'mitaragshot, from any sort of evil decree that might come upon us, as we said, as it is written, and tzedakah, righteousness, charity, shall save from death. And of course, if it saves from death, then of course it saves from things that are not so terrible as death. So if Avraham Avinu had to do this thing that for us would be very difficult, and something that God told him to do it, but actually in general that's not something you should do. When it comes to charity, of course we should be motivated to do it, and of course we should be excited to give charity every day, and especially because people are judged every day. We're judged every day, so we should be motivated to give whenever we can. So that's it for today, and we'll continue tomorrow. Take care. Bye bye.